You've written a lot recently, including a very fun, speculative novel, 2054, about where technology is going and how that changes national security for the United States, and most of this book's set in the United States. This one as opposed to the last one in Asia, which was a lot of fun. I want to talk though about how technology is changing fighting in the United States. Talk to me a little bit about not 2054, but the next, let's say, administration, the next 4 years. How is warfighting going to change? How is America's national security posture and vulnerabilities going to change?
Let's start with Ukraine. We're watching warfare shapeshift in front of our eyes. On the one hand, you have World War I. You have trenches, blood, guts, hand-to-hand fighting, waves of troops massacred, static everything. It's World War I, and what's the coin of the realm? Artillery, shells. Thousands of them. So that's the World War I piece. But on that same battlefield, as we know, is artificial intelligence, unmanned systems. The Russian Black Sea Fleet started with 60 ships, of which almost half are sunk or badly damaged.
Which is crazy, because Ukraine doesn't have a navy.
You stole my punchline.
Oh, was that your line?
Yeah, sure. Ukraine doesn't even have a navy. They did it all with unmanned vehicles, exquisite intelligence. And what was the first ship they sank? The flagship.
The biggest one.
The flagship.
Moskva.
Moskva took it down with 400 sailors, a remarkable feat of arms. So you've got these competing visions in front of you. How do we think about it? Here's our problem so often in geopolitics and life. We want to think of everything as an on and off switch. Everything's black and white. It's very simple. So one could say, oh yeah, the US military needs to absolutely do unmanned and special forces and cyber and get rid of all those expensive platforms. That's not the right image. It's not an on and off switch. It's a rheostat. You dial it in. And so over the next 4 years, I think quite significantly, using the lessons of Ukraine, you're going to see the dial of that rheostat move. Less spending on those big conventional platforms, more spending, and the good news is a lot of it's less expensive on cyber, on unmanned, on space, on lightweight maritime systems, on a US Marine Corps. And what you need to think about in this context is a new triad that's emerging. We think of triad as the strategic triad, the nuclear. This is the new triad of warfare. It's unmanned systems. And people think, oh, drones. No, it's much bigger than that. It's unmanned. That's satellites. That's long dwell surveillance. It's Reaper, Predator attack drones.
Submarines.
It all the way to the bottom of the ocean. That tranche of unmanned is one leg of this new triad. The next leg is cyber and artificial intelligence. We can dive in deeper on that. And the third leg of the triad are special forces. And I want to make a point. Special forces we tend to think of as Rambo and Navy SEALs putting red dots on people's foreheads. That's part of it. But special forces to me are elite, exquisitely trained humans doing very difficult one-off tasks. So that can be a SEAL, it can be a Marine Raider, it can also be a cyber expert, it can be a drone pilot, it can be an artificial intelligence engineer, those kind of special forces. We are going to need less of these huge standing armies, which are incredibly expensive. By far the most expensive thing in the U.S. Armed Forces are personnel. We are not going to need a 1 million person army to contend with China, but we are going to need that new triad of warfare.